Hot hatchbacks. Well, it's a term that puts a big smile on the faces of motoring enthusiasts instantly. And why not? I mean, something that's small, nimble, lightweight, and has lots of power sounds like a great recipe for motoring fun, right? Well, the point is, how much power does a car need to be qualified as a hot hatchback? Well, if you're in Europe, it would be something in the region of about 200 horsepower. In India, something about 100 horsepower would also make do. But what happens when you give the job of making a hot hatchback to the engineers at AMG? Well, this is what they came up with, the A45S. And with this car, perhaps I think they did not have any boundaries. And that's the reason why this is the world's most powerful production hatchback. Also, when this car was launched, it had the world's most powerful 2-liter petrol engine. And if you look at it, it looks super cool also. Now, when you compare it to a average European hatchback, this is more than twice powerful. And because of all that power and the AMG dynamics, this is no longer just a hot hatchback. This is a nuclear hatchback. So how exactly is this nuclear hatchback to drive? Well, things start with a bit of a problem, because when you step inside the car, the expectation of this being the world's most powerful production hatchback and more than 420 ponies under the hood, well, you do expect the car to be quite loud. But when you thumb start it, this is what you get. So clearly this 2-liter petrol engine with its turbocharger definitely puts out a lot of horsepower, but doesn't manage to sound as great as a larger engine or probably a V6 or a V8 would, especially when you're idling. But things do change quickly, and for the good, because when you put this car in race mode and you also engage the exhaust button, and then when you drive this car fast or when you accelerate fast, it does make a lot of good sounds, and also the pops and crackles. This is what you get. This is brilliant for a 2-liter engine to sound this way. Yes, it does not sound great when you're just idling. It doesn't have that, or when you're throttling, no. But when you're driving, this car definitely sounds great. So let's talk about the hardware that makes all of this sound and gives you all this power. Well, it's a 2-liter petrol engine, it's turbocharged, you get 421 horsepower, lots of torque, it's an AMG, so that's a given. You also have a nice, quick automatic gearbox paired very well to the engine. Shifts are quick, upshifts, downshifts, hardly any lag. And in fact, if you look at the engine, the way the turbo has been configured, despite a small engine developing so much power, the lag is almost imperceptible. Off the line, this car is always raring to go. Yes, just at the beginning there is a hint of a lag, but once you're past that, when you're driving it and when you're in motion, there is hardly any lag. So that's a big achievement for the engineers that they've delivered an engine that is so quick in terms of power delivery. Also, in terms of acceleration, this car really accelerates violently off the line. It's a hatch, it doesn't really weigh that much, and 420 horsepower, let's be honest, is a lot of horsepower. I mean, there are mid-engine sports cars in the world that develop less horsepower than this. So all of this power crammed into a hatchback, well, it definitely is great fun to drive. And in terms of handling also, it's not that this car cannot keep up with the power. It comes with all-wheel drive, Mercedes' technology for Matic. So power is being delivered to all four wheels, and hence you have better control over all this power. So handling is fantastic. You can go around corners blazingly quick. Straight line stability, no problem at all. The car is really, it sits low. The center of gravity is low, so again stability is not a problem at all. The tires are grippy, the chassis is again very stiff, so all of that results in a car that doesn't mind taking corners at a very high speed. But for all you enthusiasts out there, you must be wondering, well, it's got all-wheel drive, so it must be a bit boring to drive and you can't drift it. But like I said, it's an AMG and they've thought about it. So what they've done is they've given this car a drift mode. And once you engage the drift mode, this is what you can do with the A45. So clearly the A45 is a hoot to drive. It's fast, it's loud, it can go around corners really quick, and it can drift. What more can you ask for in a sports hatchback? Now, how is it to drive in terms of comfort? Well, in terms of comfort, let's talk about the cabin first. It's got a similar layout that we see in many other Mercedes cars. So it's got that similar dashboard design, the screens. All of it works well, by the way, no problem at all in terms of features. Also, the cabin is equipped with all the comfort features that you would expect from a Mercedes car. The seats are good for a sports car. They've got very good side bolstering. It really helps when you are going around corners quick. Even the back seat has got reasonable space, reasonable comfort. You can seat 4 adults. Works. It's a practical car. You can use it every day. The problem with using it every day though is that, well, it's a very stiff car. And to handle all of that power, to give you the kind of handling that it has, it's a stiff car. Well, it's not stiff only when you're driving it in race or sports plus mode. Even when you're driving it in comfort, things do improve. It softens up a bit. Too stiff to be called a comfortable car. I mean, all of the surface undulation, the potholes, everything, it feels like the car is crashing into it. All of it is relayed back to the cabin. So that is a bit of a bother with this car. But to be honest, I don't see any reason for anyone to be buying a car almost ₹1 crore worth, a hot hatchback, to be comfortable. Well, if you want that, you can buy any other Mercedes. This car is all about performance, and like I have told you earlier, in terms of performance, it is an absolutely mind-blowing machine. So at the end, should you go ahead and buy the A45S? Well, first of all, the big question is, do you have the money? If you have the money, why not? Go ahead and buy it. I mean, in terms of pure joy or pure driving fun, this car really ranks very high. And it also gives you the exclusivity or the bragging rights of the world's most powerful production hatchback. And it definitely is a great car to drive in terms of driving engagement and fun. It also looks the part. The only thing, like I said earlier, as long as you can live with the stiff ride quality of this car, it is a great machine to own and drive.